pretty much wrapping up the last part of this project. I probably have one more part yet to go over the dust collection for this new miter saw station, but basically I'm pretty much done right now. I got a couple updates that'll come later in the future, but the major one was getting this installed, which took me a little bit longer than expected, but I had some other things going on as well. So I was trying to do this in a weekend, which I did, but it took me a little bit longer than I expected, more so because I needed to go through and clean out shop and just figure out what I want to keep, what I want to get rid of. So this section here yet needs to be finished. It's basically it's organized for the time being, but I need to finish it off, basically install some walls and some doors to kind of keep this clean. And then this section is pretty much complete. I just have some shelves here that I can use to store and organize my short cutoffs. And the one thing I want to do yet is I want to build a bin on the side here that'll actually take care of the longer cutoffs that are beyond 30 inches. So, because I really don't want to stack anything up here if I can avoid it. I'm not saying it won't happen, but I'm really tempted to actually put a piece of plywood here at an angle just to keep stuff from building up there. But or I might actually put some cubbies here maybe, I'm not sure yet. But anyways, so this project, like I said, is pretty much done. I might have mentioned in the previous video about how this garbage can does fit underneath the miter saw. It's a good and bad thing. It's good, it fits. It's bad, it's the fact that I kind of was hoping that I have to go to a smaller size so it fills up quicker and it's not as heavy when it comes time to dumping it, but I guess it's a pro and a con. I still need to do the dust collection yet, and I need to redo this electrical here, and that'll probably be a weekend project. I did confirm in this conduit here that there is power going through that yet, and I know where it goes. It goes to a dead end. It's just capped off. So I'm going to put an outlet up on top for the light here and the air cleaner, and then the miter or the panel saw, and then use just this outlet here just for the miter saw. But I need to make a dust hood yet. In order to do that, I need to slide this junk cabinet over, which is probably a good time to organize that as well. And I need to slide it over about 9 inches, and it'll be good. So I'm working on a couple different designs for the miter saw dust collection hood. If I would have had this made 3 inches wider, I could actually make a box that would actually fit between the tables, and this current saw would clear. Now the one thing I do know is that if I go to the Bosch AccuGlide saw in the future, that whatever box for dust collection I make here will work with that saw, because it doesn't have as much mechanicals in the back side of it, unlike this particular saw here. So the saw's been great, but it's starting to show some wear. So I don't think it would hurt us by any means to actually look at a new miter saw here sometime, maybe in 2016. Watch for some sales. And the nice thing about that is I can pretty much keep the leveling system I have. Maybe just have to adapt a platform to this so that way I can still level it the same. And unless the saw is wider, which I don't think it is, I actually think it's narrower, these don't have to change, which means that the saw blade would still technically be in a relatively close position. So if I have to make any adjustments, hopefully it's still on this stop block. So yeah, I'm actually pretty proud of this. It actually, it added more room here to the shop too, because before, I mean, this was really coming all the way up to here. It was just getting kind of narrow. And if you watch any of my previous videos and some of the cabinet builds, you've seen how tight this actually got. So this was nice, because it actually forced me to move it tight up against the wall again. I am pretty close here. I did allow, clearance for the dust hood that I plan on building, so it'll work. When I do that, if I build it out of wood, I'll maybe do a build video on that. I don't know for sure yet, but I might actually have it done out of sheet metal. So I've got a couple different ideas in mind right now, but right now this is going to get me done what I need to get done for the time being. So like I said, I got more weekend projects coming up. Maybe looking at redoing some lighting here. Maybe do an 8-foot fluorescent and raise a little bit, because I will eventually be replacing these cabinets I built when I did the shop. Something I just whipped together out of readily available materials from Home Depot, some pine and some 1/2-inch AC plywood. I never put doors on them, never got around to it, so I'll probably make them a little bit deeper. Maybe not. I mean, I can actually get to them pretty well. This dimension, by the way, from the front edge of the plywood to the wall is 28.5 inches. So the steel framework or the steel stand is 27. So you know, like I said, I shallowed it up by about 8 inches compared to where the old miter saw was sitting. And the old miter saw was probably a little more than that. I do know that the piece of plywood or particle board that was on this side with all those base cabinets was 36 inches. How do I know that? I reused it. It's down here now. So anyways, so that's kind of the short update on this, but I have to say I was really proud on how this turned out. And I'll bring the camera a little bit closer and show you a little bit about this compartment, and that's pretty much it for this video. Like I said, I'll probably do a follow-up with the dust collection hood, and maybe after I get the electrical done to neaten up this fire hazard, and it should be good to go. Okay, so these compartments are basically for the usable cutoffs, the stuff that I'll still save for stuff that can still use it. And typically I get a lot of cutoffs just in face frame and door stock. So anytime we run a job, we run the material as we need it. So we run the face frame stock as we need it, and we run the door stock as we need it. And when we're cutting out face frame parts and door parts, we'll have a lot of cutoffs that are left over from the job. And because we run a consistent species selection between oak and birch is our two primary species we do a lot of work in. This is kind of nice because I can, you know, separate things however I want. Now there is nothing set to this madness. I just wanted to organize this a little bit so I had some way of organizing it. Maybe I might use one side for face frame material and one side for, you know, just other solid stock, whether it's stile and rail material for doors or panel material, whichever. And I can move these out and increase a compartment size. I thought about making these smaller yet, but I really got to thinking about it. This is about 5.5 inches between here, and really anything less than that, the way the math came out, it just really wasn't suitable, so I just kind of picked a number. So these are 5.5 inches apart from each other. This compartment here is actually going to be used for the fall-off sheet stock parts. Stuff that gets cut on the sliding, on the panel saw here, or on the sliding compound, whether it's, you know, shelves or something like that. Any short cutoffs can actually go into here, and hopefully this will kind of help minimize what we save in the shop to use, because I've got several of these four-wheel dollies that are filled with scrap that I kind of weeded through it as I was going through this, but I'm sure as I start putting stuff away again, I'll probably weed through some more stuff. So the idea with this compartment is that I'd be very selective as far as what is saved and what gets tossed. So, and the one thing I wanted to point out is the height of the floor here of the bottom shelf. Is really nice because I use a lot of these four-wheel dollies. I just buy them locally, and I pay about 20 bucks for them. You know, I can't buy these casters for $20, let alone some cheap pine material and carriage bolts for that. So it's cheaper for us to buy them here, but we really like these when it comes to finishing cabinets. Originally I bought I think 3 or 4 of these at one time. I was finishing some tall cabinets for a friend of mine. He's the one I built some doors for occasionally, do some finish work for occasionally, and he had brought in, I want to say it was 4 tall bookcases, and they need to be pre-finished. And so I just went to the local box store. Not sure where it was actually. Anyway, somebody had them in stock, and I had bought 4 of them. And so every now and then I'll buy a couple more, and I think I'm up to probably about 9 or 10 right now is what we have for total. But the nice thing about these is I never really had a good home for these. And last time we did a major cleanup, we had made a space to store these. I actually hung them on the wall actually. And with this new miter saw station, I had some wasted space that has now actually become very valuable, because I can store about 7 of these throughout this whole miter saw station. So that was just one little perk that I just wasn't even planning on. I did tell the guy when he was welding this that I wanted, you know, minimum was 6 inches off the floor, but little did I realize that by the time I added the feet, I was going to have probably closer to 7.5 inches, which was nice to actually add these carts underneath there. So it's a real, it's actually a really nice feature. So yeah, that's pretty much it right now. Like I said, a couple nice bonuses that I really wasn't planning on, but I mean, I knew that I wanted to do something with the short storage cutoffs, but I really wasn't sure what I'm going to do with this yet. I got a really good idea. They'll for surely build it out with some sheet stock, probably some particle board or melamine, and put some doors on it, probably even some pull-out shelves. I might actually, on one side here, actually install, make a cabinet to slip in there to, you know, store hardware and things like that. Typically here in the shop, we order materials as we need it, kind of a lean manufacturing process. And for the materials that we buy for hardware, you know, there's some price breaks to be had depending on what it is. If it's something that we use a lot of, we will actually order maybe a case of it or go in so we get to the next price break. But we don't mass stock a lot of things in here. Some common items, you know, like shelf pins, hinge covers, things like that, where you get the best price break at a quantity that's you know, real reasonable. We'll buy bulk in. But other than that, when it comes to drawer slides and hinges, everything is pretty much ordered as we need it in kind of the lean manufacturing way. Like I said, other than that, everything else is ordered as needed. But I still have a lot of miscellaneous hardware that gets used occasionally. So the idea is, back to my point, 1/2 of that I'm hoping that we're going to build an actual cabinet, put some pull-outs in it to actually store the miscellaneous hardware. Because the rack I have on the other side of the shop is eventually going to be going away, because I need to be able to move machinery a little bit more efficiently. And the thought is that I might actually move my cope and stick shaper over by the raised panel shaper and free up in front of the dust collector for you know, something else. So other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit longer than I kind of wanted to spend a lot of time talking, but I just wanted to share this because this was kind of fun for me. Some of you might be disappointed or wish you had actually seen the build, and I kind of wish I would have taken the time to do it, but at the same time there was a lot of running around, which means that out of you know, the hours I put into this, you've probably only gotten seen maybe 15 minutes of me actually running around in a high-speed time lapse. So I just really didn't think it was worth it. But I'm hoping that once I decide to replace the miter saw and replace this actual fence here with something that I'm working on designing right now, hopefully I'll do a video on that. And that one might be an actual multi-part series, but it's not something major. I'm actually moving something in, so hopefully I can share a little bit with you on that as well. So like I said, there'll probably be a follow-up video for this dust hood, and that'll probably be it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and questions or positive comments are welcome. Thanks for watching.